What's up everyone, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7, and we have another car to unbox. Now this time it's the ZD Racing Pirates 2. It's a 1/8 scale 4-wheel drive electric brushless off-road truggy, and I've had several ZD Racing cars, and so far they've been excellent and really good value for money, so hopefully this one is as well. Now as you can see, it's that awesome looking truggy design. I do like the how it looks. It does include two 7.4 volt 4000 milliamp hour Aurora approved Lipo packs, programmable 120 amp ESC, 2.4 GHz radio system, of course, high torque steering, servo, T6 aluminium grade chassis, 16mm big bore shocks with threaded bodies. It's got 3 differentials, it's excellent, 4 ball bearings, and of course 4-wheel independent suspension, and apparently it does 45 miles an hour plus, or 75 kilometers an hour. Okay, I'm not going to go over this because it's the same as what was mentioned on the front. Let's just get straight into it and see what's inside. Yeah, sweet. That is pretty wide actually. It's actually a very wide car. These suspension arms are really long. So before we get into the car, let's have a look what you get. You get the classic B3 Pro compact charger, and it charges via your Lipo balance lead, so you can do 2S or 3S with this guy. So I always recommend buying a good 4-button hobby grade charger, because you know it might take a couple of hours to charge and nobody likes waiting. Okay, next up here is a 2.4 gigahertz radio. These come with all their ready to run kits. Look, they're not the most attractive, but they feel alright. It's got a nice, I guess, foam cover on the steering wheel here. It's got all your basic steering dual rates, throttle trim, steering trip, and your reverse switches. Good thing about it, it does only take 4 AA's, even though there's space for 8, it only takes 4, which is a big win for me. On and off switch and your antenna. And we can't forget the antenna and also a bind plug. Okay, in the bag we get the rear wing and the mounting accessories. It's just using screws there and double-sided tape and some cable tie. Now everyone's favorite part of the kit, the manual. Said no one ever. 1/8 scale 4-wheel drive off-road truggy Pirates 2. So like any of these SD racing kits, they're all the same. It does have a nice exploder views and stuff as well with these. Tells you, you know, if you're new to the hobby, how to operate it, how to steer, set up the steering trim and throttle trim and all that good stuff. But like I said, here is all the good diagrams to help you put it all back together when or if you completely obliterate it into a gutter. So let's remove the Pirates 2 from this box. That is all you get with it. Man, that thing's wide. It'd probably be more stable and good for some top speed runs than the JLBs and stuff like that, but time will tell. So here is the shell, and first thing, it's very thick. It's pretty hard to bend. So that is, yeah, that's really thick shell, or sorry, really thick Lexan, but it does look very nice. I do like the colors as well. It is what it is. Yeah, it's thick though. Now here is all the goodness. What I'll do, I'll try to get this camera a little bit lower so we can zoom in on some of the good stuff. Okay, but we all want to see this stuff. So it does look, well, it looks very well laid out. I do notice that it has that is a massive metal spur gear. If you can see the diameter of that. That's huge. So it has a metal spur, and obviously a metal pinion or metal internal differentials, and it does have 3 differentials as well. It's a very simple design laid out chassis, and it does have plenty of room as well. You can just see the room around the component. It says your 120 amp ESC, so everything is really well laid out. Okay, so let's start with the motor. It is a 40mm diameter by 68mm in length, 1800 kV, so fairly low kV rating, and it is, as you can see, well, it does look fairly cool, and it is quite a beefy motor. Like I mentioned before, it is meshed up with a metal pinion gear and a ginormous spur gear. I haven't really seen anything that big before. That looks huge, but we'll see how that goes when we give it its first run. Next up here we have the 120 amp Brushless ESC. It says it's programmable. I'll soon have to check that out, but I'm not too sure if it's waterproof. This one looks exactly like the ones that are in the JLB cheaters, although them ones are 80 amp. This one says it's 120 amp. So look to see how that goes in the real world. See how it stacks up against 120 wing Hobbywing SC8 ready to run ESC they get in the Bisons and the new and upgraded JLB cheaters. Right under this box you'll get your basic 2.4 gigahertz receiver, and on the other side here, kind of weird configuration for the steering servo, is a 9 kilo metal geared steering servo. No information if that is waterproof, so take it that it isn't, and I wouldn't really trust what they say anyway. So 9 kilo steering servo, and it is mated up right there to a servo saver as well, in case you get into some pretty big knocks. Now it does have nice cable management here. I don't know why they weren't put in from the get-go, but it's very easy to do. There we go there. These just slot in there nicely, so that keeps everything out of the way and out of harm's way from that large metal gear Spur Gear, because that'll munch those to no worries. As you can see, it does include Dean's connectors. On all these ZD Racings, JLBs, Vicar Bisons, they all come with T-plugs or Dean connectors. So next up, while we're on this side, it does come with two 2S Lipo batteries, RTR approved, and they are hard case. You need, it uses 4 body clips to hold down this top plate here, and yeah, there we go. Oh, so they are actually wired up, so you only need one connector, which is excellent. That's a good idea. I prefer that, but yeah, so I guess you can just charge them, and you only need, make sure you got to keep these two together. But there we go, two 3000 milliamp hour 2-cell lipos. Now this battery tray looks pretty generic in size. I think it will fit my 4S fluorine batteries, no problems whatsoever, which is good, because I do prefer to run one 4S battery as opposed to two 2S batteries. It's just yeah, what I prefer, but at least this comes wired together, ready to go. Now apparently with those batteries you should get around about 15 to 20 minutes realistically, so that's not too bad. Okay, now let's focus our attention to the suspension. As you can see, we have 16mm aluminium bodied threaded bodies as well. Single spring, not progressive like the JLBs. It does have a nice rubber boot to protect that shock shaft from getting any wear and dust and all that kind of crap in there. You can also see it does have front and rear adjustable sway bars. Really nice, massively long drive shafts there, dog bone at this end and CVDs at the front, dog bones at the rear. So that's interesting. And you also have some adjustment here as well. So you can do your camber, you can obviously do your toe in and toe out as well. And also you have 3 holes here for your suspension at the lower A-arm, and also 3 up top here as well. So seems like a fairly good package, a lot of adjustments if you would like to do that. But everything seems, yeah, really thick. These arms here, just give these a bit of a measurement. 11mm thick up here, and 11mm thick plastic, yeah. So top and all suspension arms are 11mm thick. But what I want to do, let me get a measurement, the actual diameter of that Spur Gear. So I'm getting around about 61mm in diameter for that metal Spur Gear. So that's huge. That's the largest I've ever seen. Write down in the comments if you guys have seen anything bigger than that. Now talking about that Spur Gear, it is attached to a center differential. It does have 3. They all are metal gears and have a center front and rear drive shaft with traditional dog bones on either end. They are approximately 4.5mm in diameter, and that goes with the drive shafts as well. For all 4 corners they look like 4.5mm as well. They do look plenty beefy enough if you want to have a look in there. And also a really nice aluminium brace for the front and rear, as you can see. Now I'll flip it over before we put the rear wing on, and shades, it does look really nice. Everything is countersunk as you'd expect. No Phillips heads here, just hex heads or Allen heads. And there we go. Good look at the A-arms there. They look huge. Really, really long. Maybe this is normal for truggies, but it's the first truggy that I would have. So yeah, it looks pretty thick as well. And while I got your attention up here, you can see this nice aluminium plate up top here for strength, and also connecting the left and right steering mechanisms, and also for the hinge pins, it does have pretty thick aluminium blocks there as well. Now here's the back of the car, not much to it. It does have 16mm shocks like I mentioned before, and these shock towers are 5.5mm thick, and also does have your rear sway bar. They do also have some metal components up in there. Your like C carrier or whatever you want to call it is aluminium as well, machined aluminium, and also, sorry, hit the camera there, up the front here as well are all aluminium, which is good. So a bit of combination between plastic and metal. So that's nice to see. Not all just plastic, but real world use is another thing. How pretty it looks is one thing. Sorry, real world strength and durability is another. And installing the wing couldn't be easier. Comes with this washer and a screw and the nut they put at the bottom. So super easy there. Hope it's flexible enough not to just snap off, because I have a tendency to snap these things off with jumps, but we'll soon see. Now the wheels are just a basic, I guess, traditional buggy style, but the tyres seem fairly sticky and very pliable. See how they go in real world use. Yeah, but they do seem very nice. They have a nice 17mm wheel nut there, but yeah, they certainly do feel good. Now a quick overview, it is 550mm long and 430mm in length, so that's awesome. And also 205mm in height, pack roughly around about 4.5 kilos in weight and nearly 50mm of ground clearance. Now it does look much better with that rear wing on. I'm liking the design. Whole thing looks cool actually. It looks much better in person. Want to go check it out? Link is down in the description. It's from GearBest. They sent it to me for review, so thank you very much. But stay tuned for more videos. There will be, obviously the first one I normally do is the speed test, and also some bashing videos. And apparently, because this ESC is rated up to 4S, it's you know, you saw in the beginning roughly 76 to 80 kilometers an hour. So we'll definitely see about that. So if you like the video, guys, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't, please subscribe. There is so much more content coming up. And yeah, thanks guys. Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.